BBL 851, turn right, heading 180. Order 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established 27.
Airbus and their A350 freighter has been highly talked about within the industry. It has also seen multiple videos on the channel, and this time, thanks to updates from Bloomberg, we could actually see it just being weeks away from a proper launch, if you will, of Airbus's latest freighter aircraft, and a type that would help aid the European aircraft manufacturer in its goal to compete with Boeing better in a freighter sense. Currently, when we take a look at the various freighters Boeing offer in comparison to Airbus, the difference is none other than staggering, and while Boeing does not produce every single freighter aircraft it has ever offered anymore, their large offering has enabled customers with different needs to pick an aircraft specific to their demands. For Airbus, with only really a handful, and none that are truly large, it has proved difficult. Introducing an A350 freighter is the first step, alongside the A321 passenger-to-freighter conversions, for a future where they'll better compete in the sector, something they desperately want to achieve. As by no means at all would Airbus want Boeing in such a commanding position. It's a weakness for them. Bloomberg's article covering developments, which can be found below, is reporting that Airbus is currently poised to begin taking orders for its A350 freighter as early as next month. In previous months, it was noted that the launch, or should I say, to secure a launch for the aircraft, Airbus would need to secure at least 50 or so orders. To note, there was significant interest from namely customer Qatar Airways, who have recently also been in the news with regards to their A350 problems with the service below the paint being impacted. They are still interested though in being offered an A350 freighter as they look to overhaul their cargo fleet, which currently consists of all Boeing aircraft. However, they are not the only customer that is reportedly interested, with Airbus speaking to more than a dozen potential customers, showing them that interest is high and this aircraft could be incredibly successful for them if executed perfectly. While you heard me mention earlier that Airbus would be eyeing it up, offering to customers next month, an official launch may actually only come by year's end, so we'll still be waiting a while for that official confirmation. The Airbus A350 has two main variants, being the Dash 900 and the longer Dash 1000, so where will the freighter slot in? People familiar with the matter have made note Airbus would eye up a launch based off the Dash 900, however they would add a little bit of length onto the aircraft, but not as much length to say it is in comparison to the Dash 1000. An entry into service though would by no means be a rapid thing. In fact, it would still be 4 to 5 years before we see it flying in our skies. If the aircraft manufacturer moves forward with a launch at year's end, that would mean it could be around 2025, or I'd like to say to 2026, before we see the A350 freighter finally flying with customers. To compare though, this would roughly be a year or two after the 777-9 is expected to enter into service. So, like I noted, if Boeing moves forward with their own 777X freighter, it is still very, very likely that Airbus's alternative would be introduced to operations far sooner, given the A350 is already an established aircraft, certified and approved to carry passengers. While it's not really relevant in the sense of discussing a new Airbus aircraft, I think it's definitely important to mention the comparison with the 777X freighter, as these two would be our two newest freighters to the industry. And of course, as Boeing continues to struggle to get their 777X approved, I don't necessarily think that the 777X freighter would be at the forefront of their mind. In addition, I think we'd see it be delayed quite drastically, and it probably already has been delayed quite drastically, and they want to get their passenger aircraft flying first. This, though, is not the first time I've seen something like this take place. You can take a look at the A380 and the reasons behind the A380 cargo cancellation pretty clearly and see how they are strikingly similar. Airbus offers customers, though, at the moment, its A330 freighter. However, it is by no means at all popular, with less than 40 orders, and if we compare that to Boeing's offerings with offshoots of the 757, 767, 777, 747, and so on, it swamps them. Even where, say, the 747 lacked in passenger operations appeal in recent years, say with the Dash 8, it was certainly improved with a freighter. Airbus, of course, as you may recall, dropped their A380 freighter, like I mentioned before, which has been covered extensively here on the channel if you're interested in learning more about that type. But believe it or not, while the aircraft never saw the light of day, it actually received orders from customers, and namely big ones, of UPS and FedEx. With all that being said, Airbus is now actively looking for a freighter aircraft that isn't a conversion. When I say conversion, I refer to the passenger to freighter conversion, usually undertaken by aircraft manufacturers and also customers on aging aircraft that are looking to be repurposed. But say when I'm talking new aircraft, this would be a purpose-built freighter and dedicated to that and that only from day one. Wide-body aircraft have been most hurt, you could say, by the ongoing global pandemic, with carriers either removing their older wide-body aircraft to streamline their operations and say either head back to profitability or strive to remain profitable, and also have in addition slowed down deliveries and basically suspended plans they may have had in place to order a sizable number of aircraft that could come in the wide-body form. Our perfect case study is Project Sunrise with Qantas. An order seemingly looked wrapped up, and the wheels in motion for that were going to happen. However, then that didn't take place, and essentially now we're waiting until potentially after 2024 for that official order to come and for Qantas to really begin Project Sunrise. For Airbus on a whole though, this means that their A350 has been adversely affected, and for Boeing, they've seen slow movement with both their 787 and up-and-coming 777X. While this is a reason for concern at the moment, for Airbus they can address this with a potential A350 freighter launch, and they'll no doubt be targeting existing A350 customers that have dedicated freighter divisions to offer the type to them. Airbus though is thankfully in a position currently where a number of their existing operators of the A350 do also have large cargo divisions. Qatar is one I've already mentioned, but for example German carrier Lufthansa and Singapore-based Singapore Airlines have their own cargo divisions, and these are not even your dedicated freighter operators like that of UPS, DHL, FedEx, and so on, that strictly transport freight goods. To me, the development and potential rollout of the A350 freighter makes sense, and I think the A350 is naturally the most logical choice for Airbus when it comes to selecting a unit to say base it off. With no real other wide body bar the A380, it's really that only option. I'll be excited to also see the potential rollout come by the end of the year if everything goes according to plan, and I guess see which customers out of the dozen plus Airbus is currently in communications with actually go back and order the type and back what Airbus is looking for in a new freighter. I also hope you enjoyed this rather longer video of mine here on the channel covering the various developments with the new A350 freighter. If you have any thoughts, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comment section below, and if you'd like to see more in-depth analysis videos covering certain news topics, also feel free to let me know. Until the next video, please take care, be safe, and I do very much look forward to you joining me here next time on the channel.